Unlocking female psychology, get women to respond instantly. Hello everyone. Have you ever found yourself pondering why some men receive immediate responses from women, eagerly agreeing to dates and demonstrating genuine interest? In contrast, you might be left waiting for replies, receiving vague responses, or feeling like you have to put in all the effort to get a reaction. The truth is, it's not merely about physical appearance, chance, or financial status. There exists a particular aspect of female psychology that most men overlook entirely. As someone who is engaged in conversations with hundreds, if not thousands, of men, I'm here to share the insights that truly make a difference. If you're new to my channel, I'm Anna Jorgensen, and my mission is to assist good men like you in understanding women better so you can successfully find, attract, and maintain a meaningful relationship with the right partner. Welcome to Just the Tip. It's important to note that this discussion isn't about manipulation, rather, it focuses on the art of positive psychological persuasion. So, let's dive right in. First and foremost, let's talk about how to encourage her to respond to your texts promptly and consistently. As we grow older, our perception of time shifts significantly. You may have established a career, raised children, or even navigated the challenges of a divorce, experiences that can be quite tough. The last thing you want is to spend your valuable time wondering why she hasn't replied to your message. Yet, I often observe successful men in their 30s, 40s, and even 50s checking their phones with the same anxiousness as teenagers, questioning what they might have said to cause a delay. So, what factors contribute to a woman feeling excited to respond versus feeling hesitant? How does the way you communicate through text reflect your level of confidence in her eyes? Have you ever wondered why some women respond to certain men almost immediately while leaving others, perhaps even you, waiting for a reply? Let's delve into this intriguing topic. To begin with, what factors influence a woman's eagerness to reply versus her hesitation? Women tend to feel excited and engaged when a message piques their curiosity, evokes an emotional response, or introduces an element of playful tension. Conversely, they may feel reluctant to respond when a text comes across as needy, overly generic, or reminiscent of a job interview conducted through a screen. The crucial takeaway here is that women are not necessarily quicker to reply simply because a message is polite or kind. Instead, they are more likely to respond promptly when a message elicits a genuine feeling. Women are inherently emotional beings, and that feeling should ideally be fun, flirty, or intriguing rather than flat, overly formal, or laden with pressure. For instance, consider playfully teasing her with a light-hearted comment. You might say something like, "Don't fall for me too quickly, I can be quite a handful before I've had my morning coffee." Additionally, referencing inside jokes or shared experiences can create a sense of connection. In the early stages of communication, it's best to keep things light and concise. Remember, less is often more. Avoid bombarding her with a series of mundane questions like, "How was your day?" which can come off as dull and uninspired. Also, try not to send lengthy paragraphs or feel the need to reply instantly every single time, as this may lead her to think you lack other interests or activities in your life. Here's a key insight: women often feel more drawn to men who create a sense of invitation rather than pursuit. Imagine your approach as saying, "I want to share my world with you," instead of, "I need to win you over." Now, let's explore how your texting habits can subtly signal your level of confidence. Think of your text messages as the digital equivalent of your voice tone. They reveal your personality and mindset. If your messages come across as overly eager, excessively detailed, or constantly checking in, it might unintentionally convey insecurity. For instance, even if you're a high-achieving professional in real life, a confident man's texting style is deliberate and focused. He doesn't send messages out of habit or a need for instant validation. Instead, he communicates with clarity and purpose, keeping his messages concise and meaningful. Even when someone is already interested, brevity can be powerful. Consider the wingman motto: the goal is to leave the other person curious and engaged, but not overwhelmed. This balance is achieved by providing just enough intrigue to spark interest. Humor plays a role here too. Light teasing or playful banter can showcase comfort with yourself and a charming attitude. Scarcity is another key element. Avoid appearing overly dependent on your phone, as it suggests you have a life beyond texting. Revisit that wingman motto: create a sense of mystery. For example, a message like, "Hey, are you mad at me? You haven't replied" feels desperate, while a simple "disappeared" maintains intrigue without over-explaining. The latter invites curiosity while respecting their space, making the interaction feel more balanced and intentional. Should I call the Coast Guard or just assume you fainted from sheer excitement? It's important to note that it doesn't matter how silly that may sound. When you exude confidence, you significantly increase your chances of making a positive impression. A crucial point to remember is that women often subconsciously assess a man's confidence, and texting is one of the simplest ways for them to quickly determine whether you pass or fail that assessment. Here's a little tip: if you prefer to avoid being tested by women, consider dating men or getting a dog instead. Now, let's explore why some men receive immediate responses from women. The reason is that these men evoke an emotional reward in the woman. They are perceived as fun and unpredictable, and importantly, she senses that he doesn't rely on her response to feel good about himself. On the other hand, women tend to delay their replies when they feel pressured. If there's an excessive back and forth in the conversation, or if the exchange resembles a job application rather than a casual chat, she may realize that you will remain interested regardless of her response, leading her to feel less compelled to reply. To illustrate this concept, think of texting as a fishing expedition. Confident individuals allow the bait to dangle enticingly, while those who are insecure tend to jerk the line the moment they sense a nibble. I apologize for laughing. I find human mistakes, including my own, quite amusing. Humor is my way of coping with the complexities of life. Next, let's discuss the texting blunders that can cause women to lose interest almost instantly. What types of messages inadvertently convey desperation without you even realizing it? Have you ever wondered how your follow-up messages might be undermining her attraction to you? Let's dive into this topic and address some important questions. The first one is, what texting blunders can cause women to lose interest almost instantly? One major mistake is over-texting. If you find yourself sending messages like good morning, good night, good afternoon, and what are you doing now without receiving much in return, it can come across as desperate or emotionally needy. Remember, she isn't your therapist or your mother. When you adopt a motherly tone, it can stifle the romantic connection. Another common pitfall is seeking validation through your texts. If you frequently ask questions like, "Did I say something wrong?" it can completely kill the mood and the vibe of the conversation. Think of texting as a way to add seasoning to a dish. A little can enhance the flavor, but too much can ruin the entire experience. Now, let's consider messages that might scream, "I'm desperate." For instance, saying things like, "You're not like other girls," or "I'll cancel my plans just to see you," can signal that you lack options and are overly eager. It's essential to strike a balance in your communication to maintain her interest. "I truly hope I get the chance to take you out. Just one thing, let's hope she isn't like Santa Claus." There's a key insight here. If you place her on a pedestal, she'll likely end up looking down on you. That's a direct quote from Dr. Robert Glover, who wrote the book No More Mr. Nice Guy Star. I highly recommend giving that book a read if you haven't already. It's packed with practical advice for improving relationships and self-awareness. Now, let's talk about your follow-up texts. Are they unintentionally ruining the attraction? Follow-ups aren't inherently bad if they are done thoughtfully, but many men tend to overdo it. Sending multiple follow-ups after not getting a response only makes you appear more desperate, which can be a major turn-off. For example, saying something like, "Hey, just checking in," or "Not sure if you saw my last message," or even worse, "Guess you're not interested," comes across as passive-aggressive. And guess what? Passive-aggressive behavior often leads to an instant soft block. Here's a tip: guilt trips don't spark attraction, they do the opposite. They are almost always a deal-breaker. So, what's a better approach? Resist the urge to send endless follow-ups. Let her curiosity grow by giving her some space to wonder what you're thinking or doing. Or, if you absolutely feel the need to address it, keep it light and playful. Something like, "Whoa, did I accidentally text your evil twin, the one who hates fun," can go a long way in keeping things fun and disarming any tension. Ha ha. The key takeaway is that the man who can make her laugh, provoke her thoughts, or even make her blush will always have the upper hand over someone who communicates as if he's conducting a job interview for a position at Girlfriend Incorporated. So, let's discuss how to establish a scenario where she finds herself frequently checking her phone for your messages. The goal is to shift your texting style from one that resembles a job application to one that conveys you are already a valuable catch. Women are often drawn to men who text with a sense of confidence, an air of mystery, and a touch of playful arrogance. It's important to keep your messages light-hearted, flirty, and intentional. Avoid over-explaining, chasing after her responses, or sending messages just to check in. The ideal message should evoke emotions in her, whether it's curiosity, amusement, or attraction, without making her feel obligated to respond. Once you adopt this mindset, she won't merely reply to your texts, she'll begin to check her phone eagerly, hoping to see a message from you. And when you don't respond right away, that's when the real intrigue begins. Although we might not believe in magic, there's a certain charm in this dynamic. However, it's crucial to understand that receiving replies to your texts doesn't mean much if she still hesitates when it comes to making plans with you. This is where many men struggle. The second point is about getting her to agree to plans without any hesitation. I've witnessed this scenario countless times. Successful men who are accustomed to being respected in their careers find themselves at the mercy of a woman's schedule in their personal lives. They often receive polite maybes or last-minute cancellations, all while observing other men, who may have less to offer in various aspects, facing little to no resistance when it comes to arranging plans. So, why do women often hesitate when most men suggest plans? And what fears or doubts immediately cross her mind when you invite her out? Additionally, how does your invitation style subtly signal your status to her? Let's explore these questions. Why do women instinctively hesitate to make plans? Some of you might already know this, but it's important to understand. Because most men make it feel like a chore, not a choice. When your invite sounds like a to-do list, it can be rigorous, boring, or feel like it's meant to fill your void. She feels pressure, not pleasure. Instinctively, she's thinking, will I feel awkward or stuck? Or is this going to be fun or just another energy vampire? Or am I agreeing to dinner or a relationship interview? And most importantly, subconsciously, does she feel like a woman around him or like she's doing him a favor? This is a key point. If she's unsure how she'll feel on the date, her default is no. So, what fears immediately cross her mind when you ask her out? Well, aside from whether or not you're a shreddies killer, she's wondering, is he expecting too much too soon? Or what if I'm not attracted to him and he gets weird? Or will I regret saying yes? Imagine a woman who's been overwhelmed by overly aggressive guys in the past, only to have them feel rejected when she doesn't immediately reciprocate their feelings. It's a tricky situation, right? So, the first question that naturally arises is, will this interaction feel awkward? The key is to approach it gently, just enough to spark interest without overstepping boundaries. Think of it as creating a memorable experience rather than conducting a formal interview. Now, let's dive into how your invitation style reflects your confidence. High-status men, for instance, exude an aura of assurance, almost as if they are saying, I have plenty of options and I'm choosing to invite you. Their tone is decisive and inviting. On the flip side, low-status men often come across as needy, as if their invitation is a thinly veiled attempt to fill an emotional gap. For example, compare these two approaches. Would you maybe want to grab a coffee sometime if you're not busy, versus, let's grab a coffee next week. There's this amazing spot that makes the most incredible cinnamon buns, I know you'll love it. Are you in? The first feels hesitant and permission-seeking, while the second feels like a warm, confident invitation into their world. So, what language patterns spark excitement rather than obligation? What words instantly make her want to say yes? And how can you frame invitations as exciting opportunities instead of mere requests? Let's explore these questions further. First up, what specific language patterns ignite excitement? When you invite someone out, the words you choose should create a mini-movie in her mind, something vivid enough to stir emotion and hint at the mood you're offering. Think of phrases like, let's disappear for the finest latte on this side of town. Fair warning, every other coffee may taste boring afterward. Or, I know a taco spot so delicious it really ought to be outlawed. Be my partner in crime tonight. These statements are playful, self-assured, and give her a quick preview of the adventure that comes with spending time with you. Compare that to what we'll call obligation language, when are you free? Would you like to hang out sometime, or let me know what works for you? Although polite, these lines unintentionally broadcast, I'll rearrange my entire week if you'll grant me a single hour. The subtext screams neediness, which rarely inspires excitement. Remember an essential human dynamic: people, women included, often echo the way you feel about yourself. If you place her on a pedestal, she'll sense that imbalance and may start to believe she can do better. Flip the script by presenting yourself as an equal, or even as the guide to an experience she can't get elsewhere. So what vocabulary nudges her toward an enthusiastic yes? Words that tap into fun, curiosity, or a no-pressure vibe. For instance, let's check out a hidden rooftop bar that practically turns sunsets into artwork. Or, you'll appreciate this jazz lounge, it's like a time machine back to 1950s cool. Even cheekier, I've devised a mildly irresponsible plan involving craft cocktails and zero adult supervision. Or, you look like someone who can handle a dash of adventure, prove me right. The goal is simple: spark intrigue, promise enjoyment, and convey that saying yes requires little risk yet offers a memorable payoff. When your invitation makes her smile in anticipation, you've already tilted the odds in your favor. Let's dive into the art of crafting irresistible invitations. The secret lies in a flirty challenge combined with a casual tone. It's all about presenting an opportunity that feels fun and exciting. For instance, you could say, "I think you'd enjoy grabbing a drink with me. How about next week?" Or, you give off the vibe of someone who loves a good adventure. "I have a plan in mind." The key is to keep it light and confident, always assuming she'll say yes. If she declines, no worries. Move on gracefully. Remember, you're not selling a product, you're creating an experience. The psychology behind this approach is fascinating. Women naturally prioritize invitations from men who evoke positive emotions, even before any commitment. It could be curiosity, excitement, or a playful spark. The goal is to make her associate those feelings with you. So, instead of asking for her time, offer her an adventure. Present yourself as the prize and she'll be intrigued. It's a simple shift in perspective that can turn the dynamic in your favor. By focusing on perceived value and emotional connection, you create an invitation that's hard to resist. Rather than passively waiting for her decision, take charge with confidence. And instead of delicately navigating around her commitments, trust that she's astute enough to identify a golden chance when you reach out via text. Executed correctly, women will cease procrastinating, evading, or rearranging plans. They'll begin to prioritize spending time with you. As your demeanor conveys, this isn't a request for a favor, it's an invitation to a memorable experience. POW. Suddenly, she's the one reorganizing her schedule. The idea of missing out on your company becomes more daunting than declining any other proposition. However, despite regular communication and outings, if you find yourself predominantly pursuing her, you're setting the stage for disappointment. This is the cardinal error men often commit. The third pitfall: encouraging her interest without incessant pursuit. At this juncture in your existence, you cannot afford to waste energy on uncertainty. Yet, I witness this scenario repeatedly: men tirelessly laboring to sustain a woman's engagement, while others naturally draw women who actively seek them out. The disparity isn't due to fortune, it stems from comprehending feminine psychology. Why do women feign indifference towards certain men while ardently pursue others? Which initial actions establish the entire relational framework? And how does excessive attention prematurely extinguish her intrigue? Let's delve into these queries and offer insights. Initially, why do women appear unattainable to some men? It all boils down to perceived worth and conviction. When a man demonstrates excessive enthusiasm prematurely, before she's had the chance to build genuine interest, it can actually diminish the allure of the situation. She might begin to feel as though she's already won him, which can reduce her motivation to engage further. After all, women are naturally inclined to pursue what feels elusive or challenging, rather than something already within reach. Additionally, she may start questioning his true value, wondering if there's a hidden flaw she hasn't yet noticed. However, when a man approaches with warmth, playful banter, and genuine engagement, but maintains a level of mystery by not being overly accessible, he becomes intriguing. This isn't about playing games, but rather about signaling that he has standards and expects her to rise to meet them. The key takeaway here is that women are more likely to invest effort if they believe the reward is meaningful and not easily obtained. Psychologically, effort adds value to something, it makes it feel more special and worth pursuing. So, what early actions shape the foundation of a relationship? The way you behave during initial interactions sets the tone for how she perceives you. Are you the confident leader or the eager follower? The one who sets the pace or the one who waits for direction? The self-assured individual or the overly anxious one? These early signals are crucial. For example, avoid overpraising her appearance. She's likely heard similar compliments countless times before. Resist the urge to dump your entire life story in a single text message. And don't act as though winning her attention is some miraculous achievement. Instead, treat the connection as a mutual exchange. Women often reflect your own self-perception back to you. If you seem unsure or overly eager, she may begin to see you that way too. Let's explore why giving too much too soon can backfire. When someone showers another with attention, affection, or availability from the start, it can strip away the sense of mystery and challenge that makes a connection exciting. It's like handing someone a gift wrapped in shiny paper. Once it's opened, the thrill fades. By contrast, maintaining a balanced approach, showing interest without overwhelming her, creates a dynamic where both parties feel motivated to put in effort. This fosters a healthier, more engaging relationship where mutual respect and curiosity can thrive. Attention functions like a form of currency in relationships. If you invest too much too soon, you risk losing the tension that can create excitement and anticipation. When you overwhelm her with constant validation, send multiple texts, or shower her with good morning messages and heart emojis before she has shown any real interest, it sends a clear message: I have no other options. This shift in dynamics can be detrimental. Suddenly, she becomes the one in control, and you find yourself in a position where you are seeking her approval instead of being seen as an equal partner. It's important to understand that a healthy level of interest is attractive, while excessive attention can feel stifling. So, how can you differentiate between a woman who is genuinely interested in you and one who is merely seeking validation? What steps can you take to ensure that she is working to earn your attention? Additionally, what subtle behaviors can encourage women to be more direct and assertive? Lastly, how can you reinforce the behaviors you appreciate while discouraging those you do not? Let's explore these questions further. To begin with, what are the indicators that a woman is truly interested in you? Genuine interest often manifests in several ways. She may initiate conversations or text you first, readily agree to make plans without canceling, ask you personal and thoughtful questions, and reflect your energy back to you, sometimes even amplifying it. On the other hand, if she is merely seeking validation, you might notice that she only responds when you pursue her, offers vague and non-committal compliments, or seeks compliments without reciprocating. You might also find that she disappears for a while, only to reappear with a casual "hey" when she feels bored. A helpful tip: if she craves attention without any real intention behind it, it might be best to let her ego go unfulfilled. Now, how can you strike the right balance in your interactions? The key is to express your interest while allowing her the opportunity to prove herself to you. This approach not only maintains a healthy dynamic but also encourages her to invest in the relationship. Maintain a playful and engaging tone in your messages, but avoid being the one to always start the conversation. Show appreciation for her efforts by responding with more enthusiasm and energy, but only after she's made an initiative. Share glimpses of your life and experiences, but keep some details private until she's demonstrated genuine interest. For example, if she takes the first step, like sending a message or suggesting a plan, mirror her enthusiasm and match her level of engagement. If she becomes less responsive, gently ease back from the conversation as well. This approach communicates that your attention is something she needs to earn, rather than something freely given. Now, what steps can you take to encourage her to be more open and direct with you? Consider maintaining strong, confident eye contact when possible. Use light teasing rather than direct compliments and remain unfazed by her confidence or charm. Make bold, clear statements that reflect your personality, such as saying, "You're trouble," or "I like that." These actions naturally trigger her desire to pursue and impress you. Think of it as a gentle nudge. When she senses you're emotionally grounded and self-assured, she'll feel more comfortable taking risks in the relationship. Conversely, if you're overly reactive, hesitant, or too eager to please too quickly, it may trigger her instincts to step back, wondering if there's something hidden or untrustworthy about you. Here's an important insight: men and women often approach relationships differently. If you're too easy to win over, it might raise questions about your intentions or depth. To learn more, watch the suggested playlist next. Finally, how can you effectively reinforce the behaviors you want to see from her? Focus on consistently rewarding her proactive efforts with thoughtful responses, creating a cycle of mutual engagement and curiosity. Here's the core principle: reward enthusiasm, dismiss lukewarm behavior. When someone engages with genuine excitement and sincerity, whether through thoughtful messages, shared enthusiasm for plans, or genuine interest in your life, acknowledge these efforts. Compliment their personality, humor, or kindness rather than just appearance. Match energy investment, dedicate more time when they equally invest. Conversely, avoid overextending yourself if her responses feel half-hearted. Don't rush replies when communication becomes inconsistent. Delayed responses can help maintain balance. Resist the urge to overjustify or overcompensate. This often backfires. The strategy mirrors training a prized animal: acknowledge desired behavior, disregard unwanted actions, and prioritize emotional boundaries. This approach fosters mutual respect. By doing so, dating transforms from a hunt to a natural flow. She'll initiate conversations, propose meetups, and actively maintain interest. This outcome stems from understanding deeper relationship dynamics that most people overlook. Yet mastering these principles requires time. Attempting self-guided learning often leads to months of trial and error, awkward interactions, and missed opportunities with quality partners. The pain points often involve unclear signaling, misread intentions, and lack of structured strategies. Proper implementation avoids these pitfalls by focusing on clear communication frameworks and energetic alignment. Why delay your transformation for months when you could experience positive changes as soon as tomorrow? For those eager to revolutionize their dating experience immediately rather than at some distant point in the future, simply scan the QR code or click the first link provided in this video to schedule your complimentary consultation today. Remember that desirable potential partners aren't going to wait indefinitely, and you shouldn't either. If you found value in this content, please show your appreciation by hitting the like button and perhaps joining our subscriber community. I'm grateful to those who have already done so. I'd also like to extend special thanks to Kane for contributing the many thoughtful questions addressed throughout this video, and I sincerely appreciate you dedicating your valuable time to watch this content. Sending much affection your way. May blessings be upon you.